Okay. I'm here, gray hair and all. I need to look here. Hey y'all, welcome to my channel, Amazing Reads. I'm Tasha and I'm here today to do the Booktube Newbie Tag. Just a little bit about me. I am in my 30s. I am a single mom to an 11-year-old son, and I have been a reader for a very long time. So to answer any more questions about me, I guess we can just get into the tag. The first question is, why did you start a booktube channel? I started a booktube channel because I've been a consumer of booktube since about 2017, and it's always been in the back of my mind, and I have a book blog, amazingreads.com, and I've always just wanted, I don't know, I just kind of always wanted to do it. So I think that starting a booktube channel will be something fun and another way for me to connect with more readers. What are some fun and unique things that you can bring to booktube? I think that the most fun and unique things that I can bring is just, I don't know, a different perspective. I have a lot of things that I have ideas for, and things that even include my son, who's kind of a reader but not really. But I don't know, I guess we'll just roll with it. Hopefully I can come up with some new and unique ideas that people enjoy. What are you most excited for about your new channel? I am most excited about connecting with more people who are readers. None of my friends in real life are readers, and so a lot of the time they listen to me rant and rave about a book, but like they don't care. So just to find people who care would be so much fun. So that is the main reason why I want to start a channel. Why do you love reading? I love reading because it is an escape. It is something that I can do that calms my mind from ping-ponging everywhere and keeps me, it's a way for me to calm down. It calms my anxiety a lot of the time. And so I really love reading for that. Also, what really got me back into reading after college was that I had my son and he was a baby, and I couldn't really go out because my friends were still partying and stuff. But I had to stay home, and like I was like, oh, I think I'm gonna start reading, and I started back reading, and ever since then it's kind of just always been something that I've done. What book or series got you into reading? I actually have the books that got me into reading, and that is these books. Oh wait, hold on. Okay, so these books right here, and these are the American Doll books. Addie was the first black one, and I remember loving Addie, and I remember going to like meet the author. It was one of my first author events too. So like these are signed by the author. See? And these books, I used to just read them all over again. And like, if you look at the spines, they're all broken and tired. But this is a big book that I started reading. This is a big collection that I started reading when I was probably around in first grade. Also, this book is like an African-American black classic. Everybody read this book. Growing up, we didn't have a whole lot of black or diverse literature, or we didn't have a whole lot of black literature that wasn't set in the civil rights era or like slave books. This one's set during the civil rights era, and it follows the Logan family. This book, I just reread it last year, and it was just as good as I remembered growing up. So definitely Roll with Thunder, Hear My Cry by Mildred D. Taylor is a very important book in my reading life. All right. The next question is, what would you ask your favorite booktuber? Some of my favorite booktubers, oh my gosh. What I would ask them is, how do they balance everything? Like, how do you work a full-time job? How are you, some of us are parents. How do you make time to edit? How do you make time to blog? Like, just how do you balance everything, and how do you stick to your schedule? Because I'm so terrible at keeping to my to-do list, but if I could figure out a balance, I know that this will be a great time for me to be on here. What challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? Or something like that. Anyway, I think the biggest challenge for me is going to be consistency and just not being lazy. I think that I needed this at this time in my life right now because I have been just kind of down and slumpy and don't really know what's going on, as we all have during, protest, the Black Lives Matter movement, pandemic. Like, it's just so much going on, and I just need something that brings me joy, that takes me out of my comfort zone, that I can do from the safety of my home. And I'm just so excited about it, and my friends have been so supportive of me. And I think that if I can let go of the laziness and being self-conscious and being awkward and hating how thick my accent is sometimes, I think that I can really enjoy this. So y'all hold me accountable because it's gonna be a challenge. When did you start reading? I've always read. There was a time in college where I didn't read because, like, college, and it was a lot of reading already, and I had other things I was doing in college, so reading was not a priority. But even then, I would occasionally read a book just at random because I would miss it. But reading has always been a huge part of my life, and it's a part of my son's life, and I let him read whatever he wants. And it's just, reading is just, it's cheap, even free, and it's calming when you find what you like, and it brings joy and happiness. And so, like, why not read? Where do you read? I mostly read on my couch in my living room or in my bed. I love my bed. I love eating, sleeping, reading. I could do that all the time. I go to work, though. I can't do it, but I could. If I could get paid to do those three things, I would be so happy. But I go to work. So in my bed or on the couch is where I usually do most of my reading. What kind of books do you like to read? Overall, I think that my favorite genre is fantasy. Which is so funny because growing up, you couldn't pay me to read a fantasy book. So I read a lot of contemporaries growing up. I read a lot of coming of age stories about girls my age. There weren't a lot of black stories then, but what can you do? But just stories about girls my age growing up. I love that, falling in love. Just anything like that. Those were my favorite stories to read growing up. And then I slowly got into fantasy when I really, really got back into reading in 2017 and found Booktube and everything. So I tried out a couple of fantasies. I didn't grow up reading Harry Potter. I'm a little bit outside of that age range that read Harry Potter when they were coming out, but a lot of my friends read them, but I didn't read them. I had no interest in Harry Potter at all growing up, which is, it's easy for me to let it go because, JKR is trash. But anyway, but I read a lot of fantasy. Nothing too high fantasy because if it's too dense, it takes too much brain power. And a lot of times by the end of the day, I don't have it. So that's the majority of what I read is fantasy. I also like literary fiction by Black authors that just kind of tell about the Black experience, things that I didn't learn growing up. A good example of that is Homegoing by Ya Jasi. There was stuff in that book that I just did not know, and it was crazy, and I knew a lot of it, but I didn't know some of it, and it was just so crazy to read about. And then I went and researched it and went down a rabbit hole, but whatever, that's just what I do. I also like to read some graphic novels, I read some manga. Usually I'm just pre-reading the manga before my son gets it to make sure that I'm not giving him something that's a little too much for him. But I do enjoy it. I'm just open to reading so much. If the synopsis sounds good, if the summary sounds good, if it's fiction or nonfiction, I'm always down to read it. So that is everything that So that's pretty much it. That was the last question of the tag. So I guess I'm really doing this, and I'm super nervous, and I hope that y'all enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe to my channel if you did enjoy the content, and I will see you soon with a new video. Bye.